This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
He has time.
He's got him. Side touch is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Good morning. Motown Mitch was here 10 minutes ago already making comments. It's a nice Wednesday morning double podcast day for me. We've got Ken. We got Joe in the ride. Hopefully picking me up. Oh, wait. No, I got some Bear 6 actual right here. Never mind. Oh, and there's the broski.
800-525-5683. Thank you to Ron.
And here comes the broski on stage. Good morning, broski.
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up there, broski?
How's everything going today?
It's a morning.
I hear you. I'm locked in, man. I'm working from home, so I'm on my PC. So Broski will be snappy today.
Uh-oh. Well, it's a good thing that we're probably not going to spend the whole day under the toilet crying. I wanted to hit something up this morning. So they did, we touched a little bit on the rules thing yesterday with talking about the push vote being pushed, ironically. Very quietly, this happened, though. First downs will now be called by Sony. That's right. Sony's brand, Hawkeye technology, will be used as the primary method for measuring the line to gain during the 2025 season. So they're going to the Hawkeye system, which uses cameras to measure yardage gain. So, I guess now we'll get to the millimeter, calls. It's not going to be the guesswork of the chain gang anymore. It's all digital. What do you think about that, Kevin?
I'm not against it at all. This way, we got something a little more accurate than just the relying on the other guy's eyes to. Oh well, I'm pretty sure he got there, and this camera angle says he did, but this camera angle says he didn't. Now we have something that will at least give it. Hey, this is where the ball is. Period. Now, granted, like Dorn said, you could get some people cheating that way, but there's already so many different ways to freaking cheat. Hey.
Now, that was a take. That take was so solid you froze, Joe.
I said the refs will find a way to screw it up, but only when it's good for business.
What do you think, Roasty?
Yeah, I really don't like it. I think you need to have that human element in the game, and I don't think it foolproofs anything by having technology take over. I agree with Dorn in this. I think it's an easier way to manipulate it, and being able to cover up that it's being manipulated. human error is part of the game. And we're not talking like, when you move the markers, I mean, they're not off by a lot. When they spot the ball, they're usually not off by a lot. I mean, you can still challenge a spot. I don't like it. I really don't. Yeah.
I mean, Broski, are you saying that there might be a bunch of hackers out there that might try to hack the system and cheat for their favorite NFL team? That would never happen. Ever.
I mean, so here's the thing. So hacking, I mean, yes, but just actually physically being able to go in without hack, like intentionally going in and manipulating also. And then it's like, let's say there is an issue. I guess they'll just have the chain crews on standby and they can just jump in and take over. But
I think like they should have done a hybrid, right? Because I mean, look, I agree with the old school because like we're all old school kind of football fans to begin with, so we're going to be a little tainted towards that take, but for good reason. The human element, reason we watch the game. I mean, if it's all just, I mean, at this point, let's just like get Tesla to make us a bunch of robots and they can go play the game and everything can be down to the millimeter and, super precision. And, I mean, the human element needs to be part of the game. And like, I like how we use, well, not totally like how we use replay, but I like it enough, right, to maybe correct some obvious glaring errors. I don't think the NFL does it right. They need to kind of like maybe look the way FIFA does it, but that's a topic for like June. But I mean, trying to make the game more technological with the officiating, it's like baseball kind of tried that with balls and strikes, right? But that box is more of a guide and not the rule, right? It's still the umpire who makes a judgment call. And we've all seen it when they started doing it, and the digital thing shows, oh yeah, that was a strike, but the guy called it a ball, or vice versa. But that's the thing about it. It's like pitchers in baseball had to learn the umpires and what their strike zones were, right, and what their eyes were.
Yeah, I mean, and if the pre-settings aren't accurate, it's going to screw up literally the entire game. Like the whole game will be off, and it's like, what do you do then? You have to stop. It'll probably take more than just rebooting the system. Then that's going to cause a delay, and on and on we go. So,
well, I guess the chain gangs are still going to be there. They're just going to be the backup, which I think they should be the primary. Like maybe the primary and use the technology for a challenge.
Yeah, that, or when you have the disputes between the referees of if he crossed the line or if he didn't, use that as the tiebreaker. That I'd be more than fine with, because, hey, at least there's now something other than, oh, we're going to sit here and debate for 15 minutes and come up with some random answer.
I mean, because, like, the spot of the ball is still the most important piece of it. I would like for them to show me how the chain gang has been so wrong that they need to invest in this technology to replace the human element.
Yeah, I mean that's another good point, Ken. And honestly, it's it's really going to feed the theory. Like, I do agree with Doran's point, his first comment in the chat. Like, it's going to feed the theory that the NFL is rigged. I mean, that's been building steam every year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that theory is going to continue no matter what. That
it's going to be amplified with this, though. I feel like I don't think it. See, I think most people are going to be like, "Oh, it's going to be more accurate on every play," and blah blah blah. And I don't think people are going to realize until they get into the season and there's some mess ups or questionable things that happens. I think it's going to blow it up even more, honestly. And I don't want this conversation going sideways, but like let me just like compare it to something. Do you trust like a electronic voting system, or do you trust like a punch a ticket and turn the ticket in voting system? I mean, I completely trust the manual, like punch a ticket and count them up manually system.
I get that, Broski. I mean, there's some things that old school works better. So yesterday on X, I was in a space and we are talking about AI generation and some of the limitations. One of the guys was saying how he's kind of looking for like a sound effect for like the floorboards creaking as he walked, and he found an old boom mic and plugged it into his phone and walked across the floor and got the most phenomenal sound. Right? It's like old school analog works. Just because it's old school and it's analog doesn't mean you need to jettison it for new digital. And that was the point there. It was like he just went out, grabbed the mic, and walked on the floor and captured a great sound.
Yeah.
You don't need to like look to technology.
I mean,
Mike's doing it again, Ken.
But it doesn't need to be the end all, right? And so like I think this, like if we keep eradicating the human element out of the game, pretty soon the game's not human.
exactly. And it's like if it's not broke, well, don't try to fix it. Like that's another thing. Like, is it really that bad? Like you said earlier, Ken, are there really that many examples of these severely blown spots that have just cost the team a season or anything like that? I mean,
Not even
At that point, though, can you say that they're really like blown, or are they like,
but
it's good for business spots?
But that's the wrong argument. I hate to say this, but that's the wrong argument. Like that's a different argument altogether. The blown spots. Show me where the chain gang blew the call, where the chain gang itself, the guys who bring the little thing out there and measure the 10 yards, where were they inaccurate? Like we don't ever, the spot and the chain gang's accuracy are two different things, right? The chain gang doesn't control where the ref put the ball. They only control the measurement. Show me, like, what game did we hear? We said, oh yeah, the chain gang moved 3 millimeters to left, ensuring that San Francisco didn't get the first down. No, we never heard any of that bullshit.
yeah.
The only thing we hear is the spot.
And let's say there was a rogue element, and let's say one of the refs was compromised and he was spotting the ball intentionally, corrupt during the game. With this new, like, electronic way, you'll never be able to prove that. You'll never be able to call that out if that's what's going on. So.
Oh, Luke, there would have to have been some tracking on them if you're going to make a change to get rid of them. Like, why do you get rid of the chain gang if there isn't a perceived problem? Go ahead, Ken.
What I think this all comes from, and everybody on this panel, excluding Broski because he wasn't on the panel at the time, when Josh Allen had that spot there against Kansas City, we all said that spot looked a little suspect about where it was, and I think this is a direct result of that.
But I mean, the spot though has nothing to do with the chain gang.
Yeah, no, not the chain gang necessarily, but it would go to show where the ball was relative to the first down line. They had the whole debate about that during the game.
So that then begs another question then, right? Does this new technology the reason why they're part of doing it is maybe this new technology now, because of its tracking mechanisms or methodology, well, now maybe they can go to that and say, well, according to the camera tracker, the ball crossed the line to gain, and it's more about the spot than it is the chain gang itself. And so basically, like, we've all made the argument about, well, why are we getting rid of the chain gang and the human element? But this isn't about the chain gang at all. It's actually more about the spot, which is what Ken just alluded to.
Yes. I think the chain gang's kind of just one of those that's going to take the heat for it because they're the ones that measure out the first downs. Even though, say, on replay, it shows the ball being here, but the ref spotted it over here. This way, now that there's a chip in it, you can theoretically say exactly where the ball was on that grid.
Yeah, but there's still a way they have to lock that spot in, like whether it's electronically or not. Like you still have to. It's at some point determine like when that spot's official. So I don't think just putting a chip in the ball is going to be able to do that. There's still going to have to be someone saying, okay, like his knee hit here, but the ball's marked here. That's still going to be a little gray area.
The only thing where the ball crossing the plane matters is the goal line, right? If the ball crossed the plane for the first down, but the knee was down, if I understand the rules correctly, maybe we're not, but as far as I'm concerned, or most fans are concerned, the way looks when we watch games is if the ball crosses the plane from the end zone, it's automatically a touchdown unless the knee goes down first, right? But if it's a first down, no, it's not about where the ball crosses the plane as much as where the ball is. It's a weird.
So how do you actually spot that electronically just based on its chip? You know what I mean? Like that's like with the first down example. And then it's like, yeah, I just don't think it's very well thought through. I think it's more like, oh, AI is the trend. Oh, let's jump on it and implement it into the game. And I just don't think it's very well thought through.
I think people are going to hate it, and it'll be gone in a year or two.
I can see that.
You mean kind of like some of the other rules they're already looking at? So, okay, so now they're also looking at,
the tush push.
They're looking at,
Green Bay has 16 teams now trying to vote against the tush push. Have you guys ever seen that movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey?
That vote's been pushed. They're not going to talk about it. They're pushing that. But the NFL,
yeah, but Green Bay's up to 16 teams now.
Okay, but
that's half the league.
But they're not going to vote on it, so it's going to be a moot
point
for this year. But however, the kickoff is being voted on, and they're doing an amendment to adjust the onside kick that they'll vote for in May. So I guess we'll hear more about it then. And now touchbacks on kickoffs will bring the ball to the 35-yard line. So once again, trying to, entice people to bring the ball out or teams not to put the ball through the end zone. And also, the Lions, they had a proposal to eliminate automatic first downs for defensive holding and illegal contact penalties. It failed miserably. So yeah,
the Terry and Arnold rule.
Yeah. The overtime change that was proposed by the Eagles which was to align and it's a playoff, or it's basically what they're proposing to do is returning the regular season overtime period to 15 minutes instead of 10 minutes, which has been since 2017. Each team still gets one possession. So the playoff rule, they want to take the playoff rules and implement it right that way with a 15-minute, which could be interesting. Of course, the tush push is being pushed. So yeah, I mean, there's, I don't know. Some of these,
So, you remember that movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey? I was trying to get to this point. So you remember when Jim Carrey objects and the judge is like, on what grounds? He's like, it's devastating to my case. Like, that's what I see the tush push thing is. Like, we can't beat this thing, so let's try to get it out of there through the rules. And it's not just the Packers. There's 15 other teams now that are on board with it.
The funny thing is Green Bay is one of the only teams that stopped the tush push.
But they're like the ones spearheading this campaign. But there's also 15 other teams now that are on board. It just, like, to me, it's like you can't beat it. So, you're going to, like, try to, let's get this out of the game because we can't defeat it. I say let it stay because it's going to it's going to cause innovation. Like, eventually there's going to be a defense for that tush push that's going to work a reasonable amount of times.
And look, I think teams are getting a little bit better at stopping it because the Eagles, it's not automatic for them anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
This is what football's about. It's about innovation, right? You have offensive innovation that leads to defensive innovation that leads to offensive innovation.
Well, speaking of innovation, NFL's competition committee proposed expanding replay as well. What they're trying to look at, they're almost trying to do like FIFA's RAR, the way they do it. So basically letting the replay assistant advise the on-field officials about, quote, objective aspects of play and or to address game administration issues when clear and obvious video evidence is present. So, for instance, and the way this works in FIFA, right, is sometimes like the referee is looking, let's say the ball's going to the right corner of the field, and that's where the ref's looking. But behind him, a guy like literally clotheslines a guy. Well, the referee doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, right? So the video assistant in the earpiece says, hey, he clotheslined the guy in the back head. That should be a yellow card and a free kick going in whatever direction. And so the ref, they'll blow the whistle and they'll make the call. I think the NFL is trying to do that too, realizing that because fans always bitch about, oh, but you missed the hold on the wide receiver. Well, okay, there's 3 wide receivers and 1 judge trying to watch all of it, right? They're going to miss stuff. So what the NFL is trying to say, if there's a clear and obvious foul that the official does not see because there's too much going on the field at one time, then that the replay official could buzz in to the head ref and say, hey, look, on that last play, Jair Alexander basically had both arms wrapped around him and tugged the jersey the whole way, and everyone missed it, and it affected the play. And then they can make the determination to throw the flag or not. So they're kind of trying to go to that extra ref now on the field watching it, but it's going to be video. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't like that. It's going to be used to benefit Kansas City. Watch. It's going to be like Patrick Mahomes was touched 3 seconds after the ball, ball left his hands. The guy brushed a finger against him. That's a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, football's a gladiator sport. Let's leave it a sport for men, not crybabies.
Good morning, Yoli. I mean, I look at. I mean, okay, yeah, he brushed him with the finger, but I think get past the pessimism of Kansas City is just going to get more crap calls in their direction. I mean, there's some good legitimacy to it because I can't tell you how many times throughout the season last year fans bitched about the most obvious missed calls.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, it's because the referee was looking in a different direction or whatnot. And so I think this is the NFL's response to mitigate that. And not about, we brushed Patrick Mahomes with your right pinky finger and he had, a conniption about it. I think it's more about the obvious, missed holding calls or, just maybe more bigger stuff, not the petty Andy stuff.
Well, see, look, I should be all in favor of it, right? Because Max Crosby is one of the most held players in the league, and he gets some of the fewest calls. But I don't think that they're going to use it to start all of a sudden saying hey, the Chiefs are holding Max Crosby every single play. I don't think they're going to use it that way. So that's my pessimism comes from how it will be enforced. The idea, I'm okay with it, but I think it's going to be selectively enforced at best.
I think they should test it out for a preseason or 2, right? If it's a blatant, let's see how it works. Because I agree with Joe to a degree, but I also think though it's one of the biggest bitches we all have. Oh my God, they missed this obvious hold call, and now the NFL gives us. Okay, well, let's find a way to rectify that. And it's no, we don't want it because, Patrick Mahomes will get 15-yard penalties because I brushed him with a blade of hair. I mean, I think they should, before they implement this one, let football fans see how it works. I'll tell you one thing, in FIFA, and not just, the FIFA matches, but in league match play or UEFA Cup and stuff like that in the soccer world, it works pretty decently. But they don't overuse it. But if there's something really blatant, they do, and it's helped referees who miss things like a blatant handball, where from the point of view of the official seeing the field where the way the bodies were, they maybe didn't see it, right? So, but the VAR misses nothing. And so the VAR official would say, hey, there was a huge handball that you just missed.
I think it's a dumb
So look at the video.
Yeah.
Look at the video and says, yep, I missed it. So if they did it in that way, where the video official says, hey, Joe, you just missed this blatant holding penalty on the DB on the wide receiver on the other side of the field, you could then go look at the video clip and make it say, yep. And then you can say, well, either had no impact or impact, and then throw the flag based on that. So maybe just not take their word for it, but we're in VAR, the official goes and looks at the video and then determines, okay, yeah, it had an impact, so I call the penalty.
It's a
The
dumb
only other
rule
thing,
though, because in order for them to activate that, there has to be a flag on the field already. And if there isn't a flag on the field,
No,
well,
there
you
doesn't,
can,
Sarah. That's the point of the rule. It doesn't. It allows now for the video official to tell the on-field official, you missed a penalty, you need to throw the flag.
no. The way I understand it is there has to be a flag on the field already first, and then if they see another penalty that they didn't uh, give out, then if when they go back to look at it, then they can assess that. But like that Sam Darnold face mask, that was so blatant because there wasn't another penalty or a flag thrown. They're not. They don't review stuff like that.
God, I hope that's not how it goes.
The
It is.
NFL
That's how.
Competition
That's how.
Committee proposed
That
expanding
was the
replay.
wording
This is
on
Zach
the.
Burbidge. The NFL's competition committee proposed expanding replay, which allows a replay assistant to advise on-field officials about objective aspects of play and or to address game administration issues when clear and obvious video evidence is present. This will likely, now this is not the direct quote, but this will likely impact certain calls that can be hard to determine in the moment or just get missed by on-field officials, particularly something like face mask penalties. So the way I understand that reading is if there's like, and we saw that one too, like, oh my God, why wasn't the face mask on Jaden Daniels called when they grabbed his face mask? Well, now that replay official could say, hey, there's clear evidence that you missed this face mask, throw the flag. That's the way I read that. That's what they're trying to do because the referee missed it, obvious. And so now the only caveat I would have to the administration of how they work this, if Joe's the referee and I say, hey, Joe, Sarah face mask Ken at the end of that play, you missed it. Please come look at it. He takes the pad, looks at, yep, there it is, clear evidence, flag goes up. So I wish that they need to add that step where the official still has to go look at the video. The head referee still has to go look at the video to determine, the impact, whether it's a flaggable or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I read a couple articles yesterday on what Sarah said, and it for the penalties, it did say a flag already had to be thrown. I don't know if that's just for. Yeah, they need to be more clear on how this is supposed to work, honestly. And it's just one of those things too. It's be careful what you wish for. I think this just is going to open up. NFL is trying to be perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's a gladiator sport. And be careful what you wish for. I think it's going to open up more cans of worms than it is having just humans make the call.
Well,
the other thing that could potentially get in the way of this is what constitutes blatant. What constitutes blatant to the replay official might not be blatant to the on-field official, right? So it could be something like that the replay official sees as particularly egregious, but then the on-field official's like, no, that's not that bad, or vice versa, right?
Two pieces of that. One, that's why I would say you would still have to have the referee go look at and determine that. But then the other piece, to go to what Broski said, I mean, look at Broski, you're right, because fans remember the ones that you felt you should have got because it cost you something, but we conveniently forget the shit we get away with, right? So be careful what you wish for, because, yeah, you wanted that 15-yard call in that one game when your quarterback maybe got face masked, but you don't mind the ones they missed when your edge rusher was the guy doing it and got away with it.
Yeah, and honestly, too, that's a good point. But, and it also sounds like it's probably just going to increase the amount of penalties or increase the amount of play stoppages, which, people complain about that already, commercial, TV timeouts and reviews. Why is this taking so long? That type of stuff, too.
Well, I think every play, there's always going to be holding, and what constitute as that should be a holding penalty, and that's fine, let it go.
Yeah, we're almost getting to the point where it's almost too ticky-tack and trying to be too perfect. And look, there's always going to be some aspect of holding, and some holding isn't holding. You know what I mean? It's it looks. I mean, but you know what I mean? It looks like he's holding him, but he's really not, because yeah, he looks like he's holding, but the guy blew through him like a hot knife through butter. The dude wasn't being held. Oh, but that's a flag. How many times have we seen the guy blow past, get the sack, and the holding call? It's He was held, really? Then how do you make it to the quarterback in 1.1 seconds? I mean, that hold, man, that must have been some hold. I mean, God, don't let that guy hold your cup of coffee because it's going straight to the floor. I mean, sometimes you look at some of these holding calls, you're like, really, dude? But then sometimes you're looking at ones that really obviously should be called and are missed. But that goes with the human aspect of the game. You get some good, you get some bad. Sometimes the call goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And it probably all equals out in the wash, unless you're playing against Kansas City.
I was just gonna say, like, we cannot understate the Kansas City factor, dude. Like, because like with this rule, what we're all assuming is that the refs are completely like objective, and like everybody's doing their honest to God best job. Like, I wish I could say that was true, but I think that there's some corruption in the NFL in the officiating.
And see now, Nick, I think this is a conspiracy theory we can all get behind here. The NFL's trying to make it to where we're now going to have 4-hour blocks for games, to where it's going to be fucking mostly commercials throughout.
Well, Ken, Nick also gives me a great transition to, guess what? Speaking
a commercial.
Make more money. That's right. The NFL is playing at Christmas, not doubleheader. No, that's not enough. We're going to supersize it, because that's what we do in America. Yep, it's going to be a triple header this year. That's right, on a Thursday. Triple header Thursday for Christmas. 2 games on Netflix, 1 game on Amazon. And look, with the viewership they got last year and the amount of money it rakes in for them, it's hard to say, can you blame them? But yes, that's right. It's a triple header on Christmas now. More cha-ching, cha-ching in the NFL coffers. I mean, it's almost to the point we're not going to be playing on Sundays anymore. Good morning, Mike.
And it's like, where does this end? Are they going to start putting chips in players' like knee pads to determine if their knee touched the ground, and then like measure between like the player's knee and the chip in the ball and see where to spot the ball? It could just get stupid really quick, honestly.
I mean, but like with Nick's theory there about the NFL trying to find a way to get more commercials and say, oh, by the way, we're going to do another money grab and play 3 games now on Christmas. We've got 3 games on Thanksgiving. I mean, why don't we just add a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day slate as well? I'm sure we can have some other holiday we can just slate games.
No. See, now what's going to happen is the NFL is going to start inventing holidays to where we can start putting games in there.
I mean, we get to one point of the season. What was it? We had games last year on a Monday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. I think the only game we didn't have there was 1 week last year. The only day of the week that didn't have an NFL game was a Tuesday. I'm sure they're looking for a way to figure that one out where they can have a game every day of the week.
I'm fine with that. I like football, so give me a football game 4 times a week. I'm good with that.
Oh, here we go. Nicholas has already got it nailed. Halloween.
I haven't heard that name since I was a fucking kid. Going WCW with this shit.
So only for that weekend they allow steel chairs and tables.
There you go.
No. For that weekend they're going to have Hulk Hogan special guest referee.
Well, Jim, though, they've already moved the Super Bowl kind of, right? Because now it's like President's Day weekend, so that everyone has Monday off. So they kind of like get to do 2 things by moving it to President's Day weekend. One, it's a national holiday on Monday, so a lot of the workforce has Monday off. I know a lot of people still work on President's Day, but it's a banking holiday, national holiday, federal government, stuff like that. And 2, by doing so, they extend the season out further into the calendar year. So, they've already kind of done that. But, yeah, they do it Saturday and then really give them the weekend to party, right? Yeah, Netflix and the draft. I mean, we're going to have our own draft show here. Yeah, WWE, WCW style. That's right. Maybe Monday night will be Raw. Tuesday night football will be, I don't know, we'll have to think of a name. Wednesday night can be SmackDown. Thursday could be, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I could see that happening. Like, the Trump administration creates a holiday. It's going to be a sports holiday, and you have NFL football during the day and you have UFC at night.
Oh, actually, no, if they do it right, they could do this.
I was gonna say, come on, you can only get Joe so erect.
Oh, no, they could do if they want to do the holiday, you do it in October, because during October you have what? The NFL is already going, the NHL is going, the NBA is going, baseball has playoffs, MLS is going, every sporting organization has games. You could have a week-long celebration of sport in America and have it just be jam-packed.
Yeah.
5-7 days of sports, almost, from 9 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day.
Gladiator games.
That's right.
We'll let some wild tigers loose on the field while the guys are playing or something. Yeah, spice it up a little.
Well, I really hope, and I mean sincerely hope, if they do that, every emergency room is stocked up on charcoal, because they're going to have to be pumping a lot of people's stomachs from the alcohol poisoning that's going to happen.
I just want to see the Undertaker come out and tombstone Patrick Mahomes real quick, right in the middle of the field.
I'd say, the rule changes. Like last year, the only rule change that impact. Now, here's the thing with the rule changes. There have been several rule changes that we have not liked, like hip drop tackle, blah blah blah, which was a non-player on the field. Not in the players' pocketbooks per se, but on the field, right? I'm just wondering, like, the last year, the only real rule change that had an effect was the dynamic kickoff, and that was a biggie. But I wouldn't call it a failure last year, that rule, because I think there were more returns. The return percentage did go up. Injuries from returns did go down. I would say the NFL achieved their goal with that rule. I'm just wondering if they will achieve their goal by changing now that the first down will be called by cameras, and then adding the VAR type of referee to the NFL system. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to achieve their objective goals and make the game better with these rules. Like, it works in soccer VAR. I don't know if it's going to work in the NFL that way.
Yeah, there's too many nuances for football, and you don't even physically see where the ball ends up all the time because people are on top of it. It's yeah. I don't know, man. It's kind of.
I would rather them add another official or two to the actual field, right? Which there are already like 7 or 8 officials on the field that can throw a flag. Like, okay, like the back judge, remember, used to be behind the quarterback, now got moved to the other side of the ball. So why don't you add another judge on the back side of the quarterback, so now you have both sides covered, right? So add another judge, and maybe add another judge to the secondary, right? Something like to the secondary zone.
Yeah,
go ahead, Broski.
No, I was going to say, just like I can't get past just like marking a first down mark. Like, how do you do that? Because, like you said, if you just have a chip in the ball, it's not where the ball crosses for a first down. You have to take in consideration where the guy's knee went down. How is a chip in the ball going to determine that? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like you need to put microchips in their knee pads, like, or something. Like, it's really kind of really goofy, man. I don't see how
hope it's just to assist in like cases where like that Buffalo game was, to determine whether or not the ball crossed the first down mark. But I think they're still gonna have to do instant replays to see where the knee went down and all that. I think it's just to assist that, hey, did that ball cross that first down marker? Or that's what I'm hoping it's gonna be like.
Yeah, which to me is just going to lead to more stoppages of play, honestly.
Well, that goes back to Nick's. Hey, the NFL is going to get more commercial time.
I mean, they could bring back a celebrity. They could start having like real life celebrity death matches. That would be pretty cool.
While we determine where the
maybe some public executions on that day too. Like, let's get it done, guys. Let's get it done.
I mean, like,
as long as we start with Pelosi and Schiff.
Like, to go back,
Joe, thank you, Joe. Yes,
to go
Joe.
back with
As long as we what?
to go back what Sarah said though with the VAR style thing, like I would would hope it would be just used for certain, they wouldn't use it for every play because my God, the VAR ref could flag every play if he wanted to in this game. You look at every play, there is a foul committed on every play of every NFL game. I mean, there's always a slight hold or some kind of illegal motion or a twitch, right? I mean, there's always something. So, like, if they were to use VAR and they're obvious, some of them, right? Really obvious, but they have zero impact on the game in reality. I hope it's more so for, and look at like some of these face masks. If you, oh my God, it was a face mask. Like, okay, was it intentional or was it the guy's arm was moving as the guy's head turned into the face, the hand, and that's why the face mask happened? Because sometimes that's the case, right? Like that may be more
Yeah,
accidental.
I mean, even though it's not intentional, it should still be a flag based on the rule.
Yeah, I was going to say, remember, we used to have a division of the face mask versus the intentional and unintentional with what was it, like 15 and 5-yard penalty of what it used to be, and they got rid of that. So I don't think that they're going to be going to where they're going to differentiate it.
Because, like, honestly, some of these plays, like some of the face masks, and some that don't get called, rightfully don't get called because it wasn't an intentional face mask. The guy's arm is going forward, the other guy's head's turning, and the guy's head turns into the hand. I mean, and all of a sudden, when the guy launched his hand, it wasn't going to be a face mask, but the guy turns his face mask into it, and now it's a penalty. And well, the defender should have controlled his hand. Really, with the speed of the game, I mean, come on, man. Like, there's not a human alive who could have avoided it at that point, right? So, I mean, there has to be some discernment, would be how I'd phrase it. Some discernment with how they apply the rule. And so, let's face it, some of these face masks that people bitch about are accidental at best. They're not like where the guy grabbed it and tried to yank a mask off or anything like that. Some of them are just accidental contact. And oh my God, I should get 15 yards for that. I mean, it makes a mockery of it, like the Patrick Mahomes. Oh, you breathed on him, 15 yards kind of crap. I mean, we're going to get to the point where it's so ticky tacky with the rules that the game won't matter.
Yeah, I'm still disappointed in all like the defenseless player rules. It's like, dude, you're on the field, the play's still going. You better have your head on a swivel because as long as it's a legal hit, someone should be able to light you up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, broski. That's one of the things that I hated that they made the change for. Granted, I get it's for player safety, but at the same time, that's why you're making this insane amount of money for the insane amount of risk that goes with it.
Yep, it's a gladiator sport.
Yep. Well, broski, we're gonna bring back gladiators, except they're gonna use foam swords.
Oh.
Wait, they're going to use what?
Foam swords.
Oh, foam. Yeah, I was thinking more like axes or something, Like let's get it done.
No, the NFL is going to start putting everybody in the giant hamster balls there. That way, you're not going to get too many injuries.
How about K-bars? So let's just have them,
Flood the Coliseum. We're going to fill the Coliseum with goldfish. Just saying. But yeah, some of these rule changes, I think the only one that's going to be impactful as of now, it's the only one that's actually really been passed, is this using a video for marking the ball for the first down.
So, Ken, I have a question. If we all have to show up to games as our logos, what is a Packer going to show up as?
Yeah, Ken.
It's going to be kind of like the old Italian organ grinders. It's going to be the dude cranking the fucking machine, just stuffing the fucking sausage.
That's gay as hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say Packers are all about stuffing that sausage, huh, Ken?
Hey. When you're named
Oh,
after the
it's
Indian
the only
Meat
thing
Packing
they stuff.
Company, there's not much place you can go from there.
That's not the only thing they stuff, huh, Ken?
Yeah, we stuffed the Bears pretty well. Usually.
Oh,
Wait, did you lose the Bears the last time we met? Yeah, you did. Okay.
I know. One time in 6 years.
For the Packers, they show up in moving trucks so they can pack your house up for you.
I mean, we have got quite a few coaches fired.
They show up with a box of fudge under their arm.
No, this isn't the Raiders type of packing.
Oh, stop.
isn't that why the Packers presented that rule change?
The Raiders show up in a
Because
pirate
it's
ship and
reflection.
burn your whole stadium down.
What were pirates known for on the high seas? Thank you.
Robbing and pillaging.
You want to look a little bit more into it because they had a little extracurricular activities while they were on the boats.
Oh, here we
So that's
go.
why the Packers presented that rule change for the tush push. It's to deflect from their locker room culture of tush push.
No, they did that because they already knew that Caleb was an expert at it and there'd be no way to win.
Oh, damn. This went off the rails.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Off the rails with a quickness. I mean, and we didn't even need Motown Mitch to do it. Hey, Mitch, how you doing? Mitch has been trying to bait us today in the comments, but we decided to give Mitch the day off and let him recover for a day before maybe we go back at it. Oh, Mitch.
Hey, this is what the off season's for.
The Raiders show up in like prison jumpsuits.
Yeah, the
The Raiders show up in prison jumpsuits with their parole officer.
So what are the the Vikings though? I mean, but are they really the Vikings of old? You know what I mean? And Vikings didn't wear purple back in the day.
If they're
we're not pillaging and ravaging the world wearing purple. I'm sorry, they just won't.
Yeah, you're not like ravaging modern day San Francisco.
I was gonna say, if the Vikings were the Vikings of old, they'd be canceled in today's time. Absolutely.
I know. Leave Mitch be, man. I mean, come on. Not all of us can think Jared Goff is the top 3 quarterback in the league.
Oh God, you're gonna get him fucking started.
Nope.
Yeah,
I'm just prepping the battlefield for tomorrow. That's all.
You just wound him up.
Yep.
He's the next will be the top 5 quarterbacks of Dylon, and Dylon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he said we're afraid of facts, but facts are it took 30 years for the Lions to win a playoff game. And by the way, did you know that only 4 teams in the NFL have never been to the Super Bowl, and only one that existed before the Super Bowl era, and that one would be the Detroit Crying Lions. Just saying, spitting as we spit facts.
And the streak reset, Ken. I mean, they didn't win a playoff game this year.
Yeah, the streak's back on, baby. So, hey, Detroit, come back in about 28 more years when you win your next playoff game.
I want to see Motown Mitch and Alvin get into it because yesterday Alvin was like Kirk Cousins is a top 2 quarterback, and Motown Mitch said Goff is a top 3 quarterback.
You mean Timu Redman?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but look at least the Vikings have been to a Super Bowl. I mean, look at that's got to be sad. Our division, and this is our division's sad. I'm just going to say the NFC North, we're sad. You know why? In the Super Bowl era, we have been to, as a division, 4 teams in the division, right? At one point, 5 teams in the division, but we'll take the 4 that are currently in it, because if we add the 5th, it makes the argument even worse. With 4 teams in the division, these 4 teams in the division, in the Super Bowl era, we have been to a grand total of 5 Super Bowls between the 4 teams. 3 for the Packers, and they've won 2. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Well, let me go modern. Yeah, from 1980 on. Let's forget the 60s and 70s because I saw Ken's face. But from 1980 on, so we'll just cover the last 45 years.
Let's not even go back that far. Let's just start with like the mid '90s. Like honestly, like
45 years is a good. Most of us have been alive for 45 years, except for maybe Ken. I mean, in 45 years, we've been to 5 Super Bowls as a division. 3 for the Packers, 2 for the Bears. We've won a grand total of 3. Packers 2, Bears 1. The Lions have never been during this time span. The Vikings have never been during this time span. In 45 years. 45. Now, if you want to add back in Tampa Bay, oh, wait, they moved to the NFC South. Since they moved to the South, they've won 2 Super Bowls.
yeah, the Saints won a Super Bowl. Like that's what have you done for me lately? Like the NFC North is last place in the NFC. I'll tell you that.
I mean, bro, our division.
Get it together, NFC North.
If you go from 1990, yeah, we just lose 1 Super Bowl. From 1990 on, we have 4 appearances, 2 wins. Wait. The first. What year was Favre's Super Bowl win?
97 or 96.
It was 2 Super Bowls. So in 35 years we have 3 appearances. So our division, if you go from 1990 on, is averaging an appearance once every decade or so.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not pretty.
No, not at all. So I'll give Mitch a little bit something to breathe on, even though the fact that in the history of his team they've never been to a Super Bowl. It's just like, wow. I don't think
that's the argument. It's like that's Mitch's argument. What about lately? You want to go ancient history? I'm like, well, lately the Lions haven't been to a Super Bowl either. So what are we really talking about here? Like, what's really going on?
They hate that the Lions' window is just now opening. Dude, you missed your window.
Yeah, see, it's hilarious because
I'll agree with you there. It wouldn't surprise me if because of our teams knocking each other out all year long.
Well, that's the whole black and blue division thing. But like, Mitch saying that, we're hating that the Lions' window is just now opening. Like, dude, your window opened 2 years ago. You made it to the NFC Championship game. You lost, and then your coach said, we may never get here again.
Yeah, your window is closing. And I think it's hilarious because 50% of the time, Lions fans want to go back to like Night Train Lane days so that they can have a championship. And then the other 50% of the time, it's like, well, let's talk about 2023. Like, let's talk about recent history when we didn't win anything.
And for the thing about the Lions and their window, the windows are starting to open for a couple other teams in the division: Green Bay, Chicago, and Minnesota. It's not like they have the division like the Packers did to themselves for as many years as the Packers seem to. All these other teams in the division are trending in the right direction, either via record or their acquisitions to improve their team are showing positive trending in the right direction. Whereas, Detroit is kind of standing pat personnel wise a little bit, right? But you're losing coaches. You have lost some players. Players are starting to age out a little bit. Your offensive line is starting to deteriorate some. You've lost some of your offensive line, actually. I wouldn't say their window is boarded up yet. They're still in the window. They're in the latter stages of the window, I think. And you can still win a Super Bowl in the latter stages of your window.
Yeah, from like dollar store Brad Holmes' perspective, he looks at it like, hey, the team won 15 games last year, and they have pretty much everyone back. So, plus they'll be a little more healthy, maybe. Plus they have the draft. So that's dollar store Brad's, take on it. But we know how it works in the NFL. If you don't improve in the offseason, you get worse the next season. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love Mitch. This division is black and blue for a reason. Black and blue for a reason. I don't know. I the Lions are still a good team. They're just their window is they're in the back half of that window. That's all. I mean, but then again, like only the Lions could win 15 games in the regular season and then lose to a wild card team at home after the bye.
And all these golf lovers too. What if Goff's a prick about like restructuring his contract and doesn't want to do it next year? Wait and see how well that goes.
He'll get the Stafford treatment to where, oh, he was so great and now he's absolutely terrible.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. And I love Mitch. Well, yeah, but we're getting younger. Younger does not mean better. Younger does not necessarily mean better. Well, we
And
got
this
rid
is
of
coming from a guy who said Jared Goff is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Joe. We got rid of Saquon Barkley, but we got better because we got a younger running back.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me if that was the Giants' thought process.
All right. I mean,
That's why they're going to draft Ashton Genty 3rd overall, right, Ken?
No,
Yeah.
they're gonna leave him to number 6, where the Bears trade up with the Raiders to get him.
Oh God, please no.
no, actually,
Please no.
move, and they're going to trade with Cleveland to go all the way up to 2 to get him
Oh my.
because Brad Holmes swings big and never misses.
Yeah, I'll make sure not to have a drink in my hand when that happens because that glass is going to go flying.
Draft night should be fun. Are we going to? We haven't really talked about this much, but what do you guys out there want to see for draft coverage? We for the last couple of years we've done this like first pick the last pick kind of thing. You guys want to keep let us know if you want to keep seeing that. You can message us on Facebook and on X too and let us know. The draft is coming and we need to cover the draft. We're going to cover the draft. It's going to be interesting. I'm just waiting to see what kind of left field move happens where we're all left with our jaws on the floor and broken beer bottles from dropping them.
Man, that sounds like you're trying to call back freaking Broski's draft party for Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, I don't know if Ken knows that. I don't know if Bear fan Ken knows that story. But yeah,
tell it.
Yeah, so had a draft party, Trubisky draft at my place, and people from work over, friends over. Standing in front of the TV with a very nice Cubs pint glass that was gifted to me by one of my brothers. It's one of those ones that, like, when it's cold, it has liquid in it, it changes color, and it has all these cool designs that show up. But like, this was like next level. Like, this was like the coolest one I've ever seen. Anyway, they draft Mitch Trubisky. I try not to let my emotions get the better of me. I'm pretty good at it, I feel. However, just natural reaction. I had a beer in my hand. I told that glass. I just spiked it off the hardwood floor, shattered, glass went everywhere. And I was like, oh, that just set our franchise back 5 years. And that was that.
Well,
and that's my story.
I'll give you some, Broski. I will give you some credit though for that story. A, for telling it, but B, at least you weren't a Dallas Cowgirls fan and threw it at your TV, busting your TV as well.
Yeah, no. That's I'm more financially responsible, I would say.
Yeah, TVs aren't cheap.
And,
When the Raiders drafted Alex Leatherwood in the first round, I literally called Nick and I said, I don't even know what the fuck we're doing anymore. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can continue to support this.
And on that terrible take, we're out of time. Thanks for a great show, everyone. We will see you all tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Don't forget tonight, 7 p.m. Central, Palace Hall Report. See you there. Bye-bye.